Close your eyes and imagine it's the 1950s. The war is behind us. Hope is ahead. And America is stepping into a new golden age. Families are growing, suburbs are spreading, and the sound of rock and roll is beginning to echo through jukeboxes across the country. But beyond the headlines and the history books, life in the 1950s was made up of countless little details, things that today we barely remember. Tonight, we're going to unlock that time capsule and explore 100 forgotten things from 1950s America. And as we do, maybe you'll feel yourself pulled back into a time when life was simpler, slower, and full of charm. Picture waking up in a small-town neighborhood. On your front porch sits a glass bottle of milk, delivered fresh by the milkman, the cream rising to the top. Inside, your mom is working with a wringer washer, squeezing out water from the laundry before hanging it on the clothesline to dry in the summer breeze. On the wall, the rotary dial phone is the center of communication, its heavy receiver clunking when you hang it up. The long, curly cord stretching across the kitchen as conversations float over the smell of bacon sizzling on the stove. Outside, the mailman makes his rounds in a crisp uniform, greeting every neighbor by name, while children sit in classrooms where teachers pull down maps of the world, dusting their hands with chalk as they write across the board. Evenings often began not with television, but with the radio. Families would gather together to listen to dramas, comedies, and live music, their imaginations filling in every detail. But soon, black and white televisions became the new hearth of the home. Rabbit antennas stood proudly on top of sets as families tuned into I Love Lucy or The Honeymooners. Children rushed home for Howdy Doody on Saturday mornings, while parents laughed at Ed Sullivan's variety show. TV dinners, Wanson's frozen trays of turkey, mashed potatoes, and peas were a brand new invention, eaten in front of the flickering screen on fold-out trays. Food carried its own personality. Driven diners lined the highways with car hops, skating out burgers, and root beer floats straight to your car window. At parties, colorful Jell-O molds were a centerpiece, and green bean casserole was becoming a holiday classic. Coca-Cola was sipped from glass bottles with paper straws, and Wonder Bread, wrapped in its cheerful polka dot packaging, sat on every kitchen counter. Children stirred Ovaltine into their milk or spread Spam between slices of bread in their metal lunchbox is decorated with cowboys, astronauts, or cartoon characters. Step outside on a Friday night and you'd see teenagers twirling in poodle skirts with crinolines, their saddle shoes squeaking across the floor at sock hops. Boys slicked back their hair with Brill cream into ducktail styles, proudly showing off Letterman jackets from school. Women tied aprons around their waists in the kitchen, while men rarely left the house without a fedora. Katai glasses glimmered with rhinestones, seemed nylon stockings were a daily essential, and every closet held dresses pressed and ironed because looking sharp was part of the 1950s spirit. Entertainment wasn't just about TV. Comic books stacked on newsstands sparked kids' imaginations. Hula hoops took backyards by storm, while roller skates clamped two shoes with special keys. Drive-in movie theaters became the ultimate teenage hangout. Rows of cars facing the big glowing screen. Couples sharing sodas while younger kids in pajamas climbed into the backseat to fall asleep halfway through the film. Record players spun 45 RPM singles, filling bedrooms with Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry, and Saturday matinee cartoons at the local movie house brought laughter to children, while the world outside seemed wide and full of possibility. Cars were a world of their own. For just 20 cents a gallon, you could fill the tank of a Chevrolet with sweeping chrome tail fins, or a Cadillac gleaming in two-tone paint. White wall tires sparkled after every wash, and long bench seats became the stage for teenage romance. Gas stations were full service experiences, with uniformed attendants pumping your gas, cleaning your windshield, and handing you a free road map. Driving down Route 66, you'd pass Burma Shave signs, little rhymes strung along the roadside, leading up to a witty punchline. Summer vacations meant packing up the car and hitting the open road. Every mile filled with promise. Childhood had its own magic School days were filled with cursive handwriting practice, flashcards, and chalk-dusted hands. Lunches were served on heavy metal trays, and recess meant hopscotch on sidewalks or marbles, carried in small drawstring bags. Cap guns popped with little rolls of red paper caps, while Lincoln Logs and Tinker toys fueled creativity indoors. Roller skates tightened with metal keys, clanked down sidewalks, and skipping ropes spun as children sang jingles like Cinderella, dressed in yellow. The rules were simple. Play hard, explore freely, and be home when the streetlights came on. Technology was moving quickly, though it looked nothing like today's. Living rooms often featured wooden record players, reel-to-reel tape machines, and slide projectors, where families watched vacation pictures on the wall. Typewriters clacked in offices, and adding machines clicked and whirred long before calculators. Telephones shared party lines with neighbors, and Polaroid cameras amazed families with instant photos, while flashbulbs popped brightly before burning out. In cars, glowing AM radios played the latest rock and roll, filling the night with music. Shopping carried its own rhythm. 5-and-dime stores, like Woolworth's, had counters of penny candy and bins of toys. Families saved S&H green stamps, pasting them into booklets to redeem for kitchen appliances. Sears and Montgomery Ward catalogs sat on coffee tables, offering everything from clothes to furniture to toys. Banks had drive-up windows with pneumatic tubes, while department stores often had soda fountains or milkshake counters where families would stop after errands. Every small town had a main street lined with neon signs, mom-and-pop shops, and friendly grocers who knew every customer by name. Culture and community were the glue of the decade. Families gathered for church socials, bake sales, and backyard barbecues. Women invited friends to Tupperware parties. Kids rode bikes without helmets, and neighbors watched out for one another. Children drank Kool-Aid on porches, raced down streets, and chased fireflies into jars. Paper boys tossed newspapers onto lawns. Dogs barked on porches, and the neighborhood itself felt like an extended family. Life was lived outdoors, with little supervision and a whole lot of trust. Even the small quirks of home life had their place. Aluminum Christmas trees glowed under spinning color wheels, bubble lights flickered on branches, and plastic slipcovers crinkled on couches to keep them nice. Ashtrays sat in every room, even in hospitals, and metal ice cube trays cracked loudly as levers lifted frozen cubes. Folding card tables came out. 4 games of canasta and ceramic panther lamps glowed on top of television sets. And at the end of the day, children drifted off to sleep, listening to bedtime stories on the radio, their imaginations carrying them to faraway places. The 1950s weren't flawless. No decade ever is. But they were rich in details that made life vibrant and human. These 100 forgotten things are more than just objects, foods, or fashions. They are fragments of a culture built on family, community, and a certain innocence that has slipped away in our fast-paced world. So, tonight, we remember. We remember the milk bottles, the sock hops, the Burma Shave signs, and the Saturday mat. We remember the joy of playing outside until the streetlights came on, the smell of freshly ironed clothes, and the excitement of a brand new 45 spinning on the record player. These memories remind us of who we were, and in some ways, who we still are. Because nostalgia is more than remembering, it's carrying the warmth of those times into today. So tell me, which of these moments touched you? Which of these long-forgotten details made you smile? Because even if the world has moved on, the spirit of the 1950s lives on in the stories we share, the laughter we remembered, and the memories we refuse to let fade.